Hi, so I was struck in this series actually how much I rely on people watching other videos, because there's a whole list of other videos I'm about to give you. Now in video 1198 we made a wheelchair out of a shopping trolley and a car seat, and I'm sitting on it now. In 1200 we upgraded that so that we could have a bit of motor power and a little bit of fun. In this video what we're going to do is upgrade that motor power and stabilise everything so it looks a bit more and acts a bit more like a normal wheelchair. Now in order to do that, we're going to use something that we have in video 1201, and it's the rear end of this Chinese tricycle right here. Now I put that tricycle together because I was sent it and I was asked to do something with it, which I did in later videos, but I'm going to use that on this here. So this, what I've done is from 1200 removed the drivetrain. 5 seconds to unscrew it. Let's turn this chair upside down. So here's the chair upside down. There's the shopping trolley, there's a bracing bar that I welded in place. And this is the tricycle rear end from 1201, and we motorised it in 1203. So we actually have a motor on it. Now that is going to go right there. So clearly I need to weld some brackets on there. So if you watch 1201 then you'll know that this front end is essentially a bicycle frame, and those are the brackets that attach the subframe rear end to the bicycle frame. So I need to replicate those brackets and attach them to the chair. So to replicate those brackets I've got this bit of box section that I got from some industrial shelving. I need to chop it up, drill some holes and chase some channels out. And there are the brackets finished. Notice they're mirrored, so they fit properly together, and they just weld onto here, and then I can slide the then I can slide the frame, the subframe, into place, and weld those on, and hey presto, we haven't damaged the trike. So all I need to do is weld those in place. So let's do that. So I've welded my new brackets on, removed the rear casters, and now we can slot our new frame into place. Okay, so we've got to organise the front steering for this thing, and the main problem is that when you're steering round a corner, the inner wheel draws a circle that's smaller than the outer wheel, and that creates a bit of slip. Now, it was not a new problem. This is 1817 the thing came up with, and it was actually a German that came up with it, who was sick to death of taking ride in horses' carriages that just tipped over all the time. So he invented this thing, and it was patented in England by a guy called Ackerman, so it nicely follows that rule that an invention is never named after the actual inventor, which is brilliant. Anyway, Ackerman went into this, this German guy went into this like you wouldn't believe, but there is a really simple way of working out what you need to do, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's get this thing out of the way. Now you might notice there are some blue marks on the floor. That is the centre point of the rear axle, and these are the pivot points for the two front wheels. And if we join those up with a line, that angle is the angle that we need on the two front arms when it comes to connecting them up, and this is called the simplified Ackerman. It works pretty much at low speed, and of course we're doing a wheelchair so it's going to be low speed. It doesn't work at very high speeds like racetracks, but brilliant for us. So this is our straight line where the wheels went. Then if we make a little pivot like that, a little angle bracket, and weld that onto the wheel, then when we push here and here like that, we'll get a different radius of the wheel, so one wheel will turn and the other will turn at a different angle, and that will cure our steering problem. So there's my two modified holders, and they go like that with that point here and the same one with that point there, so we now have our bar that goes between those 2 points. So when I bolt those off, we'll have the correct angles. When I shove that bar, I'll get the right steering. So I need to unscrew those and put those on. So here's the finished steering arrangement. Here are the two bits here and here that we welded on according to the drawing on the floor. That's the connecting rod that we put between those two, and that's the basic Ackerman steering. So when I move that, it will move in relation and change the angle of these wheels. But of course we need to move that. In order to move it, we need to connect it to the steering rod, and there it is. There's the steering rod there with a little lever at 90 degrees, connecting rod, and we have another lever at 90 degrees directly on the wheel. So when I turn that steering rod, it will push against this wheel. This will change the angle, and that rod pushes against that, and so that's our completed steering. I've also welded on the remains of our shopping trolley to take their batteries. There it is all together. Of course, we're in the car park, breaking the rain. Let's give it a go. Oh dear. Want to go?
I do,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Look at you go!
Steers really nicely.
It does steer really nicely. You've got to get a little bit used to it.
Okay, that was a lot of fun, and the steering is really cool actually, but it is what it is. It's a mobility scooter made out of a car seat shopping trolley in the back end of a tricycle, and for that it responds really well, and of course it was immensely cheap. And that's the good thing about something like this. Now the batteries I haven't talked about much, because batteries are batteries and you choose which one is suitable for you, your pocket, and what you're using it for. Now something like this, lead acid is just fine, and that's exactly what I've used, lead acid. If you want to fork out for lithium, well, knock yourself out. Your only other option really is going to be nickel metal hydride anyway. So whatever suits you and whatever suits your build and your budget is what you're going to use. This uses lead acid because it's essentially a golf cart, and that is a venerable battery for that application. Probably not going to do 100 miles in a day, and those couple of batteries are probably well capable of doing that. I mean, I suppose one thing I could do to improve it would be to add cup holders. The tiller arm I found a little difficult, so the next one I am definitely going to put a steering wheel, although you don't need a tiller arm, you could equally use handlebars if you wanted. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the creation. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe.